Good morning, everyone. David Paul speaking. I'm the Managing Director of VectorVest here in the UK, and I'm going to try and answer the question, should you buy the dip? First of all, let's look at world markets, the UK and the US. This is the chart of the VectorVest Composite UK, which is an equally weighted index of all 2,000 plus shares that we follow on the UK markets. And that's since the COVID collapse. The red and the green triangles show the longest term measure of the trend on VectorVest, and that trend has been up since the COVID sell-off last March. There's been a couple of hiccups along the way. Neither of them came to anything, and then at the moment the trend of the London market is up. If we have a look at the US market, has been much more difficult, and largely since March this year, the overall US market has been going nowhere, and today the longest term measure of the US market is down. And if we have a look at the US market in a bit more detail, the short-term trend is up, the medium-term trend is still down, and the longer term trend is down, and the breadth of the market's incredibly weak. Maybe to look at a market that I trade myself, I trade it quite aggressively, the S&P 500, and that's the pullback that we had over the last few weeks, and that's the little rally that we've had during Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and maybe a bit of Friday last week. I would be a lot happier to see that market break above the last little swing high, which I have labeled with the blue dotted line. And that's also a 78% retracement, an important Fibonacci level of the pullback. So in the US, there's a great deal of headwinds as yet. Only the short-term measure of the trend on VectorVest is up. I would personally be much happier in taking positions in the American market if we do close above that blue dotted line. However, there is an opportunity around. I spoke about the opportunity a week ago when I was on Core Finance. I think the Kape Tech looks particularly good. I've charted the share in my normal format using bar charts. Above the bar chart, the green thick line is the VectorVest valuation. So we say that the share is significantly undervalued. The blue line study in the lower window is earnings per share, and that's growing very strongly indeed. There was a deal, and the deal was well liked by the market. As you can see, the share price bounded up on huge volume. And since that, it's traded what chartists would refer to as a multiple inside series of days. And yesterday it broke out of that in reasonable volume. So it looks to me as if the share wants to move up towards the VectorVest target, £556. So I'm a holder of that share. We've been talking about it on my Monday afternoon cast to VectorVest subscribers for 2 or 3 months now. This is Polar Capital. I'm looking at a weekly chart in this case, just to give ourselves a longer term perspective. I spoke about it a week ago. It still hasn't confirmed, but it's starting to look very interesting indeed. As you can see, the share's undervalued. It's growing earnings strongly. The weekly stochastic, I use an 8-week stochastic. I've done for a very long time. And the 8-week stochastic is getting down into the oversold area. And normally, in my experience, it takes 2 to 3 weeks to turn. So we could be off maybe 2 weeks still off a turning point in Polar Capital Holdings. So just watch that. It's on a hold recommendation. And if you have a read at my blog at vectorvest.co.uk/blog, I've spoken about that share at great length. I would like to see it move to a VectorVest buy recommendation before getting on board. Redrow, a share that's been revalued significantly over the last couple of months. As you can see, VectorVest valuation has gone up and the earnings per share has gone up strongly. Technically, the share has traded what technicians like myself refer to as a a cup and a potential handle pattern. It's on a VectorVest buy recommendation. I would like to see it break out above that obvious resistance from a cup and handle pattern before buying into it. The last one, and those of you that know me well will know that I'm not happy unless I've got a mining stock. This is Italia Mining. It's a copper play based in a very safe area of the world, undervalued significantly. Earnings per share over the last 3 years rising strongly, and it's pulled back and kissed an obvious old top, which is always good, and starting to move up. It's on a VectorVest buy recommendation. Clearly, the copper price, which has been in the doldrums for the last couple of months, needs to come to the party, but that looks like a quality mining proposition, and that share can move up to the VectorVest valuation if they're a wonderful reward to risk ratio. So I think there are headwinds ahead, ladies and gentlemen. In the pre-market this morning, the American market is off, and as I say, I would be much happier if the S&P 500 closed above that little dotted blue line, which is just above last swing high. That would allow me to buy into meaningful positions in the American market, which I haven't done yet. Thanks very much indeed. I hope that you found that useful.